What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're talking about some pretty exciting stuff. Now, I have been campaigning for stuff like this for so long, and the fact that we're finally getting this today is a really good sign, and that is about the update to certain character abilities in Pirate Rumble. So in today's video, we're going to go through all of these abilities, but I also want to, also just initially at the start of the video, I want to talk about the 5 characters that I believe got the best updates with the character stat improvements. So these characters are all going to be arriving with the 12.3 update. Is that mentioned here? Yeah, so the 12.3 maintenance period. And the thing is, with this maintenance period, it's not a very big update, so I was really confused as to why, this update was even coming out at this point in time. Like, it doesn't really change a whole lot, aside from us being able to stock up a lot of cola, so potentially there could be more updates regarding that in the future. But the updates to all of these characters are also arriving with version 12.3, which could be that dot point of new features for new characters. I hope that is also for New Year's characters as well, because it's always cool to see new mechanics, but likely that might be just be updates to the characters for Pirate Rumble. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it, and the first character I want to talk about who got one of the major upgrades is going to be Sanji V2. So you can see that his Rumble special, it's the exact same, but after the update, instead of only targeting one character with high attack, he actually targets 2 characters with high attack. So he does, if he's above 50% HP, gives himself level 12 attack, and then 2 high attack enemies for 1.5 damage, 1.5 damage, 1.5 damage. So it's actually a pretty big update to the character. Unfortunately, the character CT is pretty high from memory. Yeah, 33 is pretty high. And you have a look at his Rumble ability, which also got updated, where now he gives level 6 attack and speed to fighter characters. He completely evades paralysis and also reduces damage from int by 30%. So this character got some pretty good stats. He is fighter powerhouse, so he does synergize well with, the fighter powerhouse squad. So this V2 Katakuri, new legend Jinbei, legend Ulti, like that's actually good synergy that this character has. So I think that this Sanji right here got some really good buffs. Now the next one that I also think got a really nice buff and a needed buff is V2 Garp, and I think this is just absolutely hilarious that V2 Garp is a really recent character, and the fact that they're already giving this guy a buff goes to show how bad this guy was on release. It is crazy to me that this character was so bad on release, and this is not the only Rumble legend on this new update period here, which is just nuts, right? Because the Rumble legends are so bad. Like, they make these legends that are specifically for Rumble, and they're bad in Rumble, and then they're also bad in normal content. They don't have super class or super types. So I don't really understand, some of the urgencies to release these Rumble Legends when they literally don't help anybody here. So I like the fact that they're going to give this character some updates, but are they good? And I do think the Garp's update is good, but I don't think it's going to make him meta-defining, right? So his Rumble special was just terrible. Really, really bad. I mean, even the CT is a big problem. 31 CT. This is honestly one thing that I would have changed as well. But after the update, he's going to target 2 enemies with high special CT for 1.8 times damage 2 times. Previously, you needed to make sure that the enemy had 100% special CT, otherwise Garp wouldn't do any damage to them. So that's obviously a huge issue. He then will go ahead and target fighter teammates for level 7 attack and speed, and then he says that if his HP is below 70%, then he gives himself a counter for 30 seconds, whereas before you needed to be below 50% to get the counter. So the special didn't change too much, but at least now the damage from his special will connect, so that's great to see. But I don't think, as I said, it's really meta-defining, honestly. I'm not too sure how the order of operations goes, but it looks like he does the damage before he buffs the attack and speed. That's also a bit of a huge, missed opportunity there. His Rumble ability also got a buff, and this was also another component of the character that was pretty bad. So now he will still go ahead and give blow away percent up level 5 to fighters, but now instead of level 4 defense, it's level 5, and he also gives level 5 HP increase. So they've done a really good job with updating his Rumble ability. And then when he's below 70%, he gives himself level 5 and level 5 attack and defense to himself. So that's really, really nice updates to the character. So he will hit at least a little bit harder, and he is guaranteed to hit with his special. I think that Garp got a really nice needed update, but again, as I said, I don't think it's like an update that's going to make him a necessary inclusion to fighter or powerhouse teams, in all honesty. And then right below the Garp update, we have Legend Kuma, man. Oh man. So, according to the GGP awards, this was the worst legend of 2022, you know, obviously from the release period of when he actually came out. Yeah, he wasn't really good in normal content. He was okay in Rumble, but not a necessary inclusion. However, his update is very strong, where now, after the update, 32 CT special by the way, he targets enemies in a large range for 2.5 times attacker's damage, and then targets 2 enemies, ignoring defense for 2 times attack damage. So this is a massive update now. Instead of doing the 2 times damage, it's 2.5. So that's a really nice increase. And then, instead of targeting 1 enemy for ignoring defense, he does 2. So that's a really nice, cool update. So the large range means that you're going to be hitting a majority of the opposing side, and then it's a guaranteed to hit 2 enemies for ignored defense damage. It just means now that you have to be very, very cautious when you're going up against strength teams. If you see this guy, you have to be very, very careful. You know, if the opposing team has a character like Kuma and Captain Kid, yeah, that could be kind of difficult to get through if both of their specials connect. So I think it's a really good update that Strength kind of needed, because Strength is a relatively weaker type in Rumble at the moment. So I think this is definitely a needed change. Another Rumble legend here, Legend Smoothie, also got a bit of an update where now her special is essentially the same thing, but instead of only reducing the CT of 1 target with high special CT, it now reduces 2 specials with high CT. So this just makes this more disruptive against the opponent. I have used Smoothie a fair amount in Rumble, and I actually do like some of her abilities, to be honest. So the fact that they've done this makes it just a much more worthwhile inclusion to teams. What's her CT again? 26. Like, on a 26 CT to delay 2 characters by 50% is pretty absurd. And it also will do pretty good damage. Targets 1 enemy with low HP for 3 times damage, up to 2 times. You know, it also does a large range paralysis as well, for 100% chance of paralysis. So paralysis isn't like the best debuff in Rumble, but her special is honestly pretty good for 26 CT. And her Rumble ability also was updated, where now it's level 6 speed, level 6 attack, and level 6 HP, all instead of level 5s across the board. So just a better inclusion for quick teams, to be honest. And then the last character we can talk about here is V1 Kaido. Now, I think V1 Kaido is an interesting update because this character does have GP abilities. And the fact that he does have GP abilities means that if you ever wanted to use him as a GP lead, you need to make sure that he's actually on your crew. But that means you have to waste a slot on your crew for V1 Kaido, and he's not a very good character in Rumble. As for his GP abilities, he gives buffs to Dex, Int, and Powerhouse, and the special ability, which you can launch twice, targets 2 enemies with low HP for 40% health cut, and then Dex and Int get blow away %. Yeah, this is a really bad GP burst. You're not really going to be using this guy as a lead. That's a very, very bad GP burst skill. But he did get updates for his normal Rumble kit. So now we can go ahead and have a look that the Rumble special is now going to be a 45 CT cooldown instead of 55. So that is a pretty decent change. And it's now going to be the same with the frontal health cut and a 2.5 times damage instead of 2.1. So it's better, but it's, again, I don't think this character is going to be meta breaking, meta defining. But the Rumble ability also got like a massive update, where before you could see that last line where it says before update, self special CT speed down level 6. He would actually debuff himself. They really did not want you to launch his special, especially that with a 55 CT cooldown. They really didn't want you to launch it. Back when it first came out in Rumble, this was a really powerful special ability, so I can understand why they're doing that. But with characters that we have these days, this character was literally unplayable. Now you have an update where he gives Striker and Powerhouse level 6 attack, level 6 health, and he gives himself level 7 attack, and for the first 20 seconds, self CT speed up level 5. So you're going to be able to get his special to launch at least, at least once during the playthrough of a Rumble match. So it's a pretty nice update there. The resistance now will actually have a resistance, completely resisting special bind and 30% damage reduction versus quick. So again, this is fine. But again, not meta defining, but I think this character got a well-deserved update, and I could definitely see some people going out of their way to use him, but due to GP burst being terrible, and because Striker and Powerhouse, I mean, you probably don't want to use these on a Striker Powerhouse team, but Strikers don't have a good team going right now, so any buffs to Strikers is a win in my book. We have the rest of the characters to talk about now, so let's go through some of these other characters. They got updates, but I don't think they're amazing updates overall. So with Super TND Law, it's pretty surprising that Super TND Law actually got an update as well. 32 CT. The only update with his special is that instead of targeting strength enemies for paralysis, he now targets 3 enemies with high attack for 100% chance of paralysis. So not a major update there. The damage is still the same, all the effects are still the same, and the rumble ability now just gives level 6 attack to quick instead of level 5. So, you know, very minor changes. I don't really know why they'd go out of their way to make these changes. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me for Super Tandem Law, but changes, you know, they're beneficial either way you look at it. Another character that got an update that was really bizarre was Zoro and Sanji from One Piece Day Sugo-Fest, and the only thing that they've changed is the rumble special of this character, where now he gives level 6 attack for 15 seconds instead of level 5 attack for 10 seconds, and then he also will up his damage from 2 times damage to 2.3. So again, just very slight updates to the special of the character. I don't think this was really needed. Dex is already incredibly powerful, so the fact that they're giving these buffs to other random Dex units, I don't understand why they're doing that. But again, it's just a fine update, not the most amazing update we've ever seen, but it definitely makes it more usable. What's his special CT again? 35, that's really high. Yeah, 35 is a little bit too high for that, honestly. It is a good effect, though, to get the attack buff, and then it actually does the damage, so that is beneficial, but 35 CT is ridiculous. Another Dex upgrade here with V2 Kizaru, which was the character that debuted on another Pirate Rumble banner, and he has a 17 CT cooldown where they buffed the special, so now it does 1500 fixed damage, and the defense and attack buff is now going to be upped from 17 seconds to 20 seconds, so there's a good opportunity that you'll actually get a little bit of overlap with his special, getting multiple different buffs there. This character is definitely very good on a Dex team to consistently do damage and consistently buffing your attack and defense very often. It's pretty good. However, the fact that he is a legend means that sometimes it can be difficult to inject him on a team when decks already have so many powerful Dex legends to try and fit on those teams. You know, sometimes you might not have space for Kizaru. If you have space for it though, and you've already got your hard-hitting units, you know, chucking Kizaru on the team is not a bad thing. He's a very good unit for Dex. But I just don't think that this special is really what Kizaru needed. Very odd. And right below him we have the Final Tap DEX Law. Now another interesting component that this DEX Law is also a Grand Party leader. So his leader skill will buff Dex, Quick, and Cerebral, and then you have a critical hit 8 times to launch the GP burst is kind of ridiculous, but he targets 3 Dex teammates for 2 times attack counter stance, and then targets 3 enemies for base attack times 3. This is an okay GP burst. The fact that the counter is only for Dex is a really, really bad effect. It should have just been 3 teammates, not just 3 Dex. And the damage is actually pretty good, targeting 3 enemies. But you can launch it, you know, 2 times per run, but you do need to get 8 critical hits before you launch it. So it's very difficult to activate. So the special that he normally has is going to be a 25 CT, which is very good. But all they've done is they've made it so that the damage from his special, instead of being medium horizontal range, it goes to large horizontal range and going from 1.5 to 2.4. So he just does more damage with a slightly more significant range, but it is horizontal damage at the end of the day, so it's not always going to hit. There are very good chances that it's going to whiff. The rumble ability, very slight update where it's HP level 6 instead of HP level 5. So yeah, unfortunately Final Tap Law didn't really receive amazing buffs, and this is probably a character that really deserved good buffs because he's just really not that good in rumble. He's more defensively focused, so I like the fact that they've at least updated the special a little bit, but the range is still pretty terrible. The damage is okay. I just don't see this guy being used. And then the final character that actually received a rumble update is Luffy and Law. Can you believe it, man? Luffy and Law. This is the character that a lot of people were kind of debated by way back when, because I was like, oh man, Luffy Law back then was like one of the best legends in the game. Surely he's going to be really good in rumble, right? Yeah, well, 45 CT cooldown for what he did is just absurd and ridiculous. Just terrible, terrible. I think he does have GP stuff as well, so he gives buffs to Dex, Quick, Fighter, and Slasher. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, and then the skill, when an enemy uses a rumble special 6 times, 1 enemy with high attack for 5k damage, 1 enemy with high HP for 5 times damage. Like, it's fine, it's okay, but the fact you have to get your opponent to launch 6 rumble specials, it's not the best rumble skill ever, but it's not as bad as some of the other characters that we've seen for the Grand Party stuff. But this guy received an update where now the special will be 38 CT instead of 45, and it does a large range 3k fixed, and then targets 2 enemies for 2.45 times damage, and then your team gets level 5 attack buff for 15 seconds. So this is a much better special. This is a very good special, to be honest. Again, 38 CT is a little ridiculous for my liking, but it's a good update nonetheless. The Rumble ability also got a very nice update where he gives buffs to all characters, level 6 attack, and then fighter and slasher characters get level 6 HP up. This is good. This is very good. I'm glad that the Rumble ability didn't go down the route of buffing Quicken Dex, because, you know, obviously this character is not a typed unit in Rumble. He's a dual unit, so they needed to be focusing on the classes, and that's exactly what they do. Giving fighter and slasher level 6 HP as well is just a nice update. CT increase would have been perfect, considering his special is incredibly high cooldown, but it's a good update nonetheless. You know, you got to respect that. He also has a resistance update of resisting damage from shooter characters by 30%, so a bit weird, and a little bit of update to his HP boost. So that's it. That's the full list of characters that received buffs from their Rumble abilities here for version 12.3. As we said, the characters that I think got the best update were Sanji, Garp, Kuma, Smoothie, and Kaido, I think. But I mean, Luffy Law got really good updates, but I just don't see them being super useful in Rumble right now. But it's very, very interesting. I'm really interested to test out some of these new updates, specifically the fighter and powerhouse characters with the introduction of, you know, the new Jinbei. You've obviously got Ulti, you've got Garp, and now Sanji. You got some really interesting stuff that we can go ahead and utilize on that kind of team. So I may definitely re-explore some of these characters as we move forward with the 12.3 update. So that is going to wrap it up from me. So thank you so much for watching the video. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.